from OptixEQ, and today I want to look at the Cotillion Grade 1 stakes race at PARX on Saturday, September the 21st. Exciting race for 3-year-old fillies. And let's look at this race. The plot fit is yellow, but the contention is hot. Speed rating is high. Typically what we want to be looking at here and focusing is on squares or horses that can come off the pace. So let's kind of dig in. You see quadrant 1, and you can see it's kind of clustered, and you see the run styles on the RPM, lots of E's and EPs. So when I first kind of looked at this, the thing that kind of stood out to me were the plots on the number 8 Guarana and the number 6 Horologist. They look pretty good in terms of squares in quadrant 1. If you look over at quad percentage, those bars to the right up here, okay, that basically tells you what square, circle, quadrant does best at this track and this distance, and compares them against each other, against all the other horses in the race. And you can see that visually anything that's above 0, bars that are above 0 is positive, and you can see the 6 and the 8 have those bars above 0. They kind of stand out. So that kind of confirms my visual. Those horses, just from a track profile and plot, look good. But let's dig in, because these are always sneaky races, these races with high contention and high speed rating, because you just don't know what can happen, because horses need to face that kind of situation. So maybe in their past performances, so I'm going to go to the grid and find a situation where these horses have run under similar circumstances. So let's start with the number 1, because Serengeti Empress is the speed horse in this race, or one of the speed horses, probably the fastest horse. She comes out of a sprint last time in the test, and she ran her guts out, ran a huge figure. Let's take a look at, if you go over to the right, you see her run style. She's a number 1 most of the time. She's going to be in the front. That's how she runs. And if you look to the right of that, you'll see her race shapes in her races. They're all pretty much fast. So she really kind of dictates things, especially routing. She's generally a fast horse, and she's going to have to go that fast because she's going to get some pressure from her outside with some of these other speed horses. So let's go back and let's just make fast a filter, because what I want to do is I want to see for the first and second call horses that have run races with that kind of pace scenario. I want to make sure it's dirt races, so I'm going to put a D up here, and I want to make sure they're routes. I want to get rid of any of the scratch stuff. And so I got my sub-list, my subset of the horses that have faced fast early paces going long on the dirt, okay? The next thing I want to do is I'm going to use the notes keywords. It's kind of a little bit of a nuance here. I'm going to try something new. And I want to filter out races where the horses had lone, and so not lone. So what I'm saying is I don't want horses that had an easy lead or a lone lead or anything like that. So I'm not anticipating that today. And also horses that maybe benefit from a speed or rail bias, any kind of bias. So once I hit that, the next thing I want to do is just sort this on speed figures from high to low. So I just want to see under this circumstances with those parameters which horses kind of float to the top. And Guarana does, and it's based really on her acorn effort, one turn at the 1-turn mile at Belmont. She has been proven at 2 turns with her coaching club win, so we're not worried about her doing the two turn. But she really kind of stands out in terms of horses' numbers that can handle this kind of situation. Let's look at some of the others, because I think there might be some value, because Guarana is the most likely favorite and most likely to finish first and second, so not a lot of value there. Will be there. Is there some value probably taking some shots against horses who will take money underneath her? And I think so. So one of the horses that floats up here is Jaywalk. Jaywalk in both those races, a second and third finish, was in the lead. That may not be the case today. Don't know how that's going to affect her. She gets a really deep draw with speed inside. That might be a good tactical actually post position for her, the speed drawn inside her. So we'll pay attention to it. And the other horse that kind of floated to the top was Horologist. So we know now Horologist can handle a fast pace and be able to finish and run a decent number. We saw that in the plot, so that's just another confirmation that horse could do it. So Guarana and Jaywalk and Horologist are horses, we might consider underneath. Horologist is going to be a bigger price, obviously. The horses we're a little bit against, a lot against, and we're not going to be using are Bellafina. And you see Bellafina is the next horse in here, but you can see two of the races are from a 2-year-old season. She really has not developed as anticipated. She's going to have a speed horse outside her. Speed horse is a drawn inside her. I don't know what kind of trip she works out from post 10, but we're going to take a shot against her. She just doesn't stand out. She just really hasn't made that transition, in our opinion, from 2 to 3 that we expected. Sweet Sammy D could be a little bit under the radar. Again, this is a horse that we would be looking at the 3rd, 4th slots to round out our tries and supers. She can handle this kind of pressure. She's in, I think, quadrant 1. She's a little circle. And the thing I liked about her, she could be like one of those improving horses and just kind of gets lucky and kind of hangs around there at the end when there's a bunch of tired fillies around. If you look at the Monmouth Oaks, she has an other keyword, and always look at the extended comment when you see other. She said she looked like she was going to get passed, or she was passed on the turn. It looked like she was just going to get buried, but she didn't. She came back. She has kind of an improving look if you look at her more closely, and maybe she can hit the board at a huge price in a situation like this, especially if we're taking a shot against some of the other horses with similar run styles. The 2 closer types, a Fleet Destiny and Street Band, also have opportunity to clunk up for the try or the super, just based on the way this race may run, because there's going to be a lot of tired fillies late. A Fleet Destiny probably will be a bigger price because Street Band ran well on the I think it was the Alabama. I'm not sure what that was, but I think it was the Alabama. She ran well, and so she'll probably get more action. But Fleet Destiny, but I would use both those because they just have the opposite run style of some of these in here. So that, and I think Street Band's a square on surface standard or something. So again, just reviewing, it looks like this race has a lot of pace. The horses that probably will benefit the most will be Guarana and Horologist, Jaywalk, Sweet Sammy D, and the 2 closers, Fleet Destiny and Street Band. We're going to use in exotics underneath Guarana and Horologist to upset the apple cart a little bit and try to beat Serengeti Empress and Bellafina.